Now I will carefully do this. I will go over to the... Stop making that noise. I'm live. And it's gross. And then I don't know, everything looks sideways today. Like everything looks like on a slant.
Oh, it is on a slant.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't think it's level.
I don't think it's level either. I think everything's like, it's like the mystery spot.
Does everybody feel drunk?
Well, nobody's here yet, so they can't feel... Well, now you've made it 100 times worse. There you go. Hello! We're trying to make it so that it's, like, not tilty. All right. I'm going to go put this out on Twitter. The Twitter right now. I'm getting the idea. I'm doing the whole thing, I guess. I don't know. You guys know how to... well, anyway, it's important. It's not important. Anyway, well, yes! That's my go-to. If like, almost every picture anybody takes of me, I'm like... Because I don't know what to do in a picture. Okay. Oh, yeah, there it is. So I can take this. I hope if I click on this, it... Oh, no. It's like echoey. Okay, wait. I just gotta share this to Twitter. I just gotta share this. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, God. I can hear myself on the thing. Ah! Okay. 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 All right. Okay. Got that taken care of. That was genuinely upsetting. Okay. So, sorry if things are turny and wobbly, like unusually wobbly. This table needs to be not the way it is. Anyway, so I'm a little bit sideways today. So I did this thing, and this time, you remember back when the last time I did that thing where I mixed the 3 decks together? I did that again, and the last time I did it, I was like, oh, I made a video. Well, the video, the phone was muted like halfway through. It was like the sound just suddenly went away, and so it was just 20 minutes with no sound. And it really upset me that I didn't get that video, and I thought, well, I'll make the video again, but I'll use my video camera that I totally fucking got that I had, and I'll use that instead of the phone so it can't get muted, etc. And that time, instead of using 3 decks that I really vibe with, I used 3 decks that I've always sort of wanted to work with and have work for me. And the result was kind of cool. So I'm going to use that deck that I made out of just the cards that spoke to me from 3 decks that have never spoken to me. And I did do the video, and it is uploading to YouTube as we speak. So it'll probably be up tomorrow. It's pretty long, but for those of you that were interested in it, it'll be up there. So whatever. So, hello! I'm just trying to say hello to people as they come in. And all that stuff. All that good jazz. Anyway, so this is a combination of 3 different decks. And I'm going to use them tonight and see how it goes. So, let's take... Oh, what are we drinking? We are drinking Barefoot Bubbly. Peach flavor. Barefoot Bubbly. I always do that. Whenever I show you guys something, I tap on it. Like it's ASMR. And then the, hey, can you cover her up?
She is.
She's covered up?
Yeah.
So you just growled at her? Mm-hmm. Anyway. Mr. Jen gave me this glass, but I feel like, who am I kidding? Like, he even put, like, an umbrella in it for some reason.
Parasol.
And but I don't, who are we kidding? Come on, I'll put it in my hair. Yeah. There.
Only skanks do that.
That looks awesome. Did you say only skanks do that? Yeah. Well, I've got bad news for you about your wife. I have great news for you about your wife.
I have indifferent news.
All right. Let's take a look with my weird thing of cards. Someone asked, will I be pregnant this year? I don't do pregnancy baby questions. Nothing personal. Just, I've had them not go right before. So, I can't impersonate a cocktail because it's TM. It's trademarked.
Like cuisine.
Cuisine. All right. Oh, I don't know if I had mentioned, but the 3 decks that I mixed together were that weird-ass Russian Viking one that I had a while ago. A while back. And then the one that looked like Asterik de Gaulle, and then one that was themed like the stars and stuff. So, wait, I missed what somebody said. There. Okay. So, let's take a look. Will I ever meet Chris? If I ever meet Chris Evans, what is the likelihood of us banging? Listen.
You'll bang me.
Listen. Okay. By the way, I'm not doing that one. I'm just deleting it, but I love you. I love you, whoever did that. I love you. Thank you for talking about that. Here's an interesting one. Was my invisible friend an entity or merely a wonderful friend I made out of my own head? That's an interesting question. Let's see. Let's do a reading on your imaginary friend. Let's do 3 cards on your imaginary friend. I don't know what we're going to ask specifically, so we're just going to get 3 cards and check it out. Okay. So just 3 cards, random, 3 cards on this person's imaginary friend. I'm hoping that all of these cards don't just sort themselves into their own decks. I feel like I have a pretty good rapport with this deck because I made it. I picked all the things out myself. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is I think that it was an imaginary friend because the first thing that comes up is the Magician. So the Magician is all about creating and all about, like, if the High Priestess had come up, if the Hierophant had come up, something like that, I might go, oh, well, maybe it was an entity that you, like summoned up, you know? But the fact that it's the Magician, and that's sort of more like like a creation thing, you probably created it. And the Princess of Pentacles, or the what they in a standard deck would be the Page of Pentacles. Thank you. It's got the Doctor on it, and at the bottom, I can't make you see the bottom. At the bottom it says Alonzi. Anyway, this was reversed. So this would be in a standard deck would be the Page of Pentacles, which makes me think that maybe when you were a kid, it's possible that you dreamed up this imaginary friend because there wasn't a lot of material wealth in the home and not a lot of material like toys and things. I'm not saying like not a lot of toys, but maybe like not real super engaging one type things. Or there was just something, there was some value or something that you were, I think it is the toy thing. I think maybe there weren't a lot of new and exciting toys, or the toys that you had weren't like necessarily like all consuming. You were really more into the imaginary friend. And then the last card here is the 8 of Pentacles. And that one is all about work and doing stuff to create value and blah, blah, blah. It's turned over. So what I would assume that is that maybe your question arises from sort of wanting that same kind of creative play back. You're kind of, the question is occurring to you in the first place because you are feeling that lack of creative spirit or that sort of constraint of play, and you're kind of wanting to get that back, and that's why the question has occurred to you. But no, it does look like it was an imaginary friend, who, by the way, is just as real as any entity, because let me tell you what, Let me tell you my theory on things we make up. I believe that all fiction is real. Why do I believe that all fiction is real? Because the second you make up a story and you tell it to somebody else, like okay, my husband and I were talking about this one time, and I think it was my husband that was talking about it, about Harry Potter. The fact that if I say Harry Potter, you know who I'm talking about. When I say, okay, Harry Potter and Hermione, blah, 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 blah. I can say that, and you know, most people know who I'm talking about. And if I say, you know, Radar O'Reilly, people who know who I'm talking about, it's just like talking about a friend. This person completely exists and is fully formed, and these people have fully, you know, what, you know, yes, exactly. It becomes real somehow, even if it's just in the heads and in the minds of all these people. It's a part of the collective consciousness, and then it becomes an actual thing. So I fully believe that all fictional stuff is real. So, Sapiens, everybody, oh my gosh, so everybody in the world has told me to read Sapiens, and I've got to do it, and here's why. Because I was talking to a lady at a function, and she's a very nice lady, but she has religious values that differ from mine. We'll just say that. And I said something about the Ancestry DNA kits or whatever, and I said that I wanted to do the one where you could find out how much caveman you are. And she said, oh, you don't really believe in that, do you? And I was like, first I was like, DNA? Because I'm not sure what the really Jesus-y people believe. And I was like, believe in what? And she was like, cavemen. You're too smart to believe in cavemen. And I just I was like too smart to believe. So I like looked at her and I was like, I'm not good at covering stuff up sometimes, right? So what came out of my mouth was, what a weird thing to say. Like, because that's how I felt. I felt like it was a weird thing. So, I don't know, anyway, somebody pulled me aside later and said, you should read this book, Sapiens, blah, blah, blah. And now it keeps coming up, so I really have to read it. So, anyway, the point of the matter is that I think it's weird to think that cavemen aren't real. Like, where the hell did we come from? And I would be really excited. I would really like to hear. For one thing, I have a bit of a brow ridge, so I'm hoping that that's an indication that I have a lot of, cause see, look, I have a brow ridge, kind of. But anyway, I kind of hope that I have a lot of cavemen. I don't know. I like the idea. I like the idea of cavemen. So, anyway. Let's see. Unicorn. Everybody like, cavemen! Your sister refuses to believe dinosaurs are real because they aren't in the Bible. What about that big-ass dragon that they talk about in that one part, sister? Tell your sister I said that. All right. Let's take a look. Several people have told me I should go into Reiki. If I take their advice, how will it affect my life? Okay. So we are going to do my favorite if you do, if you don't spread. Okay? So, people are telling you to go into Reiki. Let's read about this person. What happens if they do go into Reiki? What happens if they don't? I will tell you that from my personal point of view, I don't think you ever lose anything by learning something new. So. All right. This person should be going to Reiki. That sounds good. That feels good. Life is good. So, this is you. This is what happens if you do go into Reiki. And this is what happens if you don't go into Reiki. Huh. Okay. Well, so you will be... I'm reading the comments. They go so fast! Your comments go so fast! Hang on, I gotta drink a little. Somebody asked, what is the best retort for when someone asks, are you a Satanist? Now, I'm going to really quick do this before I read this, because this is an easy one. If you if somebody asks, are you a Satanist because you like, because you're a pagan, and you're like, what's the best retort for that? What I'm going to go ahead and say is, if someone says that stuff, you have two choices. You can either engage them in a way that you can explain stuff about it, or you can take a page out of RuPaul. You got it I think the lyrics are in Sissy That Walk, okay? Unless they're paying your bills, pay them bitches no mind. So those are your two options. Don't worry about a sarcastic retort. Just pretend like you didn't even hear them. Just, what? Now, Sissy That Walk. Okay. Now, moving on, because I just poured champagne. Now I know why he gave me the glass, because I forgot about that. This is like carbonated. I don't want to dirty up glass, though. And this one's kind of dusty. Where the fuck did you go to get this? A fucking haunted dollar store? What the hell were you doing? I just keep taking my chances. I shouldn't say that. That's not dollar store. That's like really nice, like his family crystal, and I should be nice about that. Oh no. Anyway, let's read this. If you go into Reiki, what I'm seeing here is the place where you're at is the Four of Wands reversed. Now, the Four of Wands is usually... Oh, wait. Random bird. The bird is my husband's notifications on his thing. The Four of Wands this way is usually like, yes, something exciting is coming up, and something is amazing, and something is, celebration and happy times are on the way. But yours was like turned upside down, which I think is, in this case, signifying that you are, like, the fact that it's even coming up to you, and the fact that you're even, like, people are saying you should do this or are giving you advice, is that there's some sort of, like, signal about you right now that is, showing a lack of direction. Not like you have no direction on purpose, but like there's something in you that's feeling like you do need to branch out and find something. Here's the thing about the Reiki thing. The next thing coming up, we're going to go on to the if you do, okay? We're going to go on to the if you do line, okay? No. The most annoying ringtone, you guys, was the one that my husband had that was a guy with a nasal voice going ring, ring, ring. And then he would just get louder until he was screaming the word ring. Yeah, that's the most annoying one. All right, so another good ringtone is there's a ringtone of Carly Rae Jepsen, I Really Like You, where she sings the I really, 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 really part, but then it just loops the really. It doesn't ever resolve, and it goes over and over. Hey, can someone please let my dog out of the office? Because he's barking and nobody can hear. I have the cork from the bottle. I only get one shot. Oh, wait. There. Somebody did hear me. Good. I'm not throwing away my shot, because I might need something later. Okay. Pardon my burp. I've got to make sure to always keep objects I can throw at Mr. Jen. So anyway, the going into Reiki thing. Right now, you are at a place where it feels kind of like you are like a lack of, not lack of direction, just like something is, like you feel like there's something out there and you want it to get it, okay? Like you think like there's something out there and you need to find it, or there's something that you need to move in and do in a different direction, but you're kind of like, like there's no resolve in sight on this. There's no like, yay, I figured it out. You're just like, whatever. So the next one is the Two of Wands. I picked this card, okay? See that? See that card right there? What he is doing is the umbrella was pissing me off, bunny. the umbrella had its chance. So this is like this dude, look at him. And this is why I chose this card, because this is such an unusual representation. Here he is, and he is cutting down the new growth over the old tree, okay? Like, here's this old tree, there's new growth, he's got this thing, and he's, like, cutting it. He's cutting the new growth off, all right? So, when I'm looking at this, what I'm kind of seeing is that if you go into the Reiki thing, you are going to be taking you're going to retain some of your old ways of thinking, but there may be recent stuff that you are doing. There might be like recent spiritual developments that you're going to have to break away from, and not in like a bad way, but just in like okay, this is something new I've learned. I'm going to cut this off of the old stuff that I know. I'm going to apply it to the new stuff. Okay, especially since this is like a little druid man and he's getting mistletoe. And mistletoe is like a sacred thing. So, yeah, and for whoever asked, I've combined 3 decks that have never worked for me into one deck that I'm intuitive reading from. So, all right. The next one that is in that, if you do it, is the She-Ra card. And it was She-Ra reversed, which is the Queen of Swords. I picked it because it looked like She-Ra, but it's turned upside down, okay? You are going to feel very much like you are in over your head. You are going to feel like, hey, she's in the water, in over your head. So if you do this, you are going to feel very much in over your head. You are going to feel in the weeds over this, okay? That's going to happen whenever you venture into some new thing. That doesn't necessarily mean a no. And then the next card is the King of Cups reversed, or the King of Chalices, or the Rey de Copas, right? That's what it says on here. So, somebody, you ever looked at it on Wade? On Wade? Yeah, if you've never seen Half-Baked, then you have no idea why I just said that. Oh well. Go watch Half-Baked. It's a masterpiece of our time. Second only to Cabin Boy in my list of favorite comedies. Anyway, the King of Cups turned upside down here, okay? So the King of Cups is somebody I imagine as having mastery over his emotions, having sort of, I lost my train of thought because I saw somebody say the TV show? Because the movie I love. I haven't seen the TV show of What We Do in the Shadows yet. I got really distracted because I saw somebody say they love Half-Baked, and I started thinking, I love butter stuff. Butternuts! Anyway. Yes, and watch What We Do in the Shadows. For Peter alone. Peter is 800 years old. We're not going to have Peter at the meeting. So, anyway, this dude, he's upside down. I'm like really on track tonight. Let me tell you what, carbonated wines hit me hard. Anyway, so the reason that this is on here is because you're going to struggle with some of the techniques in Reiki, because a lot of it has to do with definitely shielding your emotions, definitely so you don't take that on from the person. I don't know a lot about Reiki, but it abso-fucking-lutely, there's abso-fucking-lutely a component here of you're going to, the thing that you're going to struggle with is grounding yourself, not taking on other people's emotions. You seem to be pretty empathic from the top of this spread right here, from what I'm seeing. So that's all I'm seeing in terms of, you know, what to expect if you do it. If you don't do it, this is where things get a little bit hinky. I think you should do it. And I think the reason why is that the first card that you've got here is the Seven of Swords reversed, okay? And we've got, you know, this dude that's getting away from the camp or whatever. This is like the sneaky thing. If you don't do it, it's almost going to be like you're sneaking away from the issue. Like you're avoiding the entire issue of needing to move forward spiritually. Like you're kind of just like, okay, I'm not going to do it. The problem is, Two of Swords, you are always going to wonder. You are always going to wonder, did I make, is it your question, Tammy? Well, guess what you're doing now? You're going to study Reiki. You don't have to. I'm just saying that you're always going to wonder, maybe I should have done that. And as a result, you're going to add it to, this is the Knight of Swords reversed. You are going to be thinking about this. If you don't do it, you're going to be going, maybe I should have. And you are going to go, okay, this was just one more thing that I thought maybe I should have and I didn't. And you're going to use that to get down on yourself. You're going to be like, oh, well, you know, that's one other thing I didn't do. Like when you hit a low point, you're going to use that against yourself. So you can either start learning on a basic level here, Tammy, or you can just kind of just let it go into the file of things that maybe you might use to make yourself feel bad about yourself a little bit sometimes. So don't do that. Just check it out. And if it's not for you, it's not like you failed. You tried. It doesn't say you're not going to be successful. It just says you're not going to be familiar with what's going on. And that happens every time you know something. You know, I didn't, I mean, I was unfamiliar with ice skating the first time I did it, but I learned how, you know. And I'm not an ice skater anymore, and I didn't ever win any medals, but that doesn't mean that, you know what I mean? So, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Okay. Let's go up here. Bwah, bwah, bwah. Will my mother-in-law and I have an okay relationship? Let's check it out. Let's find out. Well, if people are coming out from all over, and a lot of people, I have a friend, okay, my friend Cheryl, who's like fucking badass and amazing. She always had this thing that she'd say. She'd say that there's no such thing as a coincidence. If something is happening, what she called it synchronicity. If a lot of the same stuff is happening, it's synchronicity. So, wait, what? Excuse me, CM? What? Wow. How could you? Big dick energy. He invented big dick energy. Okay. Sometimes, you guys. Okay. Will this person and their mother-in-law get along together? Big Dick Energy or Reiki Dick. Giant Reiki Dick is the name of the Blade Trasket novel. Blade Trasket. I have to whisper it like on American Dad when Roger is Ricky Spanish. Ricky Spanish. But it'll be like, Blade Trasket. Okay. Here we go. Is this person going to have a good relationship with their mother-in-law? We'll do a removing the blinders spread. We'll do that. I don't kind of really remember exactly how that spread goes. It's important though. I'm going to look it up because this is actually... Let's not, like, ask if you're going to have a good relationship. Let's ask how it's going to work. But I can't remember how the spread goes. Tarot. Okay. Yes. This person has one. Okay. So we're going to do this. It's from Tilly Tarot. Okay. So, yep, this is... We'll do this about this person's mother-in-law. This person's mother-in-law. What's going on with their relationship? Very interesting. You know what? There's somebody who keeps coming up and coming up tonight. Princess of Pentacles is quite... Okay. Let me take a look at this. Your mother-in-law is the third person in your relationship. Sorry. Here's what's going on. What you're not seeing in this situation is the King of Swords here. The King of Swords, he's Mr. Man of Action. I picked this one particularly because of all the blood raining down around him, how tattered and like he's finished the fight and he's whatever. I'm taking this to mean that you are kind of locked in a very aggressive sort of thing with, and you're not quite seeing how deep it goes. You're not quite seeing how deep the conflict is. Okay, Tammy, is this yours again? Did I pick yours again? I promise, if it's Tammy's, I didn't just pick her. It doesn't say like it's Tammy's on here. Anyway, so okay, just making sure. So there's whatever the conflict is, the thing that you are not seeing about the conflict is that it is like fucking deep. Okay? So the next one though is the King of Wands, and this is what impact is this unseen force having on my life right now? Okay? So the impact this is having, and because this is Mr. Wands, and I always talk about wands. Everybody's got a different thing about wands mean this and wands mean that. For me, it's always intuition into action is how it always seems to come up in my readings, and it's how I always seem to interpret it. So right now what's happening is because of that, and because of how deep this problem is, it's causing your partner to back off. It's causing your partner to back off emotionally a little bit from, I think, both of you. Which is not fair. You know, either be with your partner or be with your mommy. Suck it up, Buttercup. Anyway, the reason that I say that this is the third person in your relationship is the Three of Cups reversed coming up in the third position, which is, why am I unable to see this? And it's literally just, there's no distance. That's why you're unable to see what's going on, because there is no distance. There is never a break. There is never a time when this person's presence isn't looming large in your life. So how best can I remove the blinders? We have the Ace of Swords reversed. So I'm going to check this out because this is a card that I struggled picking for this deck. I'm going to have to struggle to see what it's meaning here for me in this reading. I think it would definitely I think it's definitely saying don't launch any like all-out assault type thing. Like, this is going to help you be a little bit more, I don't want to say passive-aggressive, but it's going to, once you start to realize the relationship dynamic that is there, once you start to realize that you can't really fight this person because you just can't. I mean, like, this is the person that you're up against. You really can't fight this. And so it's not necessarily saying that you need to accept it, but maybe stop trying to be proactive about the situation. Not proactive, aggressive. And don't be, like, I'm not saying be passive aggressive. It's just like the tactic that you're taking right now, the trying to meet it head on, isn't working because there's no space. There's no moment at which this person isn't just an overbearing presence in your life. It is very, very much what's coming through here. The final card, which is the what benefits will come to me when I can see this clearly. Okay, that is our friend that was just popped up in the other thing, which was the this is the princess, but it would be the page of pentacles. Oh, so she lives with it. That explains. That explains it. Maybe only when the problem comes up, but what I'm seeing here, just from this last one, you are going to, because, okay, the pentacles are always something having to do with value, or at least I always think it has something to do with value. Usually it's material, usually it's whatever, money, things like that, right? Okay, so that's what we're going with, but I think she looks like she's holding a basketball. Anyway, this would be the page of pentacles, but it came up upside down. So I would think that what this is saying is that you are needing to relearn how to approach the situation in a way that is not openly confrontational. And I think that's going to leave this person, okay, yeah, she's going in for thump. Spring. I think that what this is going to do is, I think that'll, one, start to sort of force your partner to look at the situation with eyes that are more open, to look at the situation from a less sympathetic to mom kind of thing. And I'm not saying pit her against, you know, like, aha, you know, this person will listen to me and not to their mother, you know, nothing like that, nothing like that. But the idea of relearning how to deal with this so that it almost feels like you're often put in a position where you have to be the person doing the confrontation, or it feels like you are constantly sort of the person that has to defend from an attack that your partner can't see, I guess, kind of, is what it feels like. And changing tactics will make him see that the behavior is that's being exhibited is more unreasonable, if that makes sense. That's overall the feeling that I'm getting from this reading. I don't do this spread very often, but that's overall the feeling that I'm getting. So, hopefully that's helpful. Let's go back to here's what we can do with the with the pendulum. Someone wants to know, will the entire Mueller report ever be released to the public? Entire Mueller report. Oh, that's not great. It says no. It says it won't. Computer says no. Well, you know what? This shit is all fake. That's what we do, right? When we don't like the answer, this shit is all fake. We don't like the answer.
That's the gospel truth.
And that's the gospel truth. All right. That's how you gotta live your life. When you do any of this stuff, if you get anything you don't like. Because one thing, too, is I feel like you can shape your own destiny. Let me clear this deck a little bit. You can shape your own destiny somewhat. And it's, you know, you got this group, there's a group of witches on Facebook. They're always doing stuff, you know. And science got a really bad answer. Yeah. See, that's the thing. But scientists made that bed because scientists are always like, tarot cards and pendulums and crystal balls and all that mystic who and rah, that's not real. And I'm on Twitter and I'm a skeptic and I'm gonna let you know because nobody fucking asked me, but I have an opinion on what you're doing on here, stranger. Only the I Ching works. Remember that guy? Anyway, that's one of the good things is when people tell you that everything you're doing is fake, you can just go, okay, it's fake. All right. The last question was the Mueller report, if it was going to get. He was really bothered. I was nice. I wasn't mean. I don't like to be mean. I mean, I like to be mean to some people. Let's be fucking honest. Like, there are people I want to be mean to, but it's not generally strangers in, you know, in an open dialogue. But that wasn't, I thought he was, like, approaching in good faith. And then he did lose his shit. It was very weird. I was like, you know what, but people are really, what do you call it? People get weird about, like, stuff that they believe, like ghosts and stuff like that, and conspiracies and all that nonsense. They get really passionate about it. I don't think I know really anything. So if somebody comes up to me and says, hey, everything you're doing is fake, well, maybe. I can't fucking prove, you know. Some people do consider tarot part of their religion because it's divination, and like some pagans consider it part of the religion. I don't consider it necessarily part of my religion, but I don't necessarily consider myself religious, if that makes sense. Oh, that's the hamster. I thought it was that fucking mouse. So, your house was haunted because basement door, oh my. Yeah, see, that kind of stuff, I'm like, yeah, okay, like, your house might be haunted, or you might have, like, you know, like how the movies, people will, like, walk into their kitchen and all the cupboard doors will be open, and it's like, oh, the house is haunted, and that's your sign. Well, like, I walk into the kitchen and all the fucking, cupboard doors are open, and it's because I have a teenage son. Yes, I do have a mouse, but not a pet mouse. I have a pet hamster. I have a uninvited freeloader living in the house who is a mouse. And I see him every once in a while, but I heard this scrabbling, and I hear him sometimes, and he's in the kitchen. And I have a cat, and I saw the mouse, and I pointed it out to the cat, and the cat was out here in the dining room, and it turned its head, and it looked at the hamster cage like this. She was like, because she's, I don't think she can spell B-I-T-C-H. She looked at me straight on and went, and then looked at the hamster cage, and then looked back and looked me in the eye, and then slowly went to sleep. So she's not interested in killing those because she doesn't like the hamster, and she doesn't like that we have it. And she gets jealous if I feed and water it, and she gets angry. So I'm talking about you. Yeah. So anyway, she doesn't like that we have a hamster, so she won't hunt the mouse. So I was like, you're anthropomorphizing, and it's like, no, like this bitch is vindictive. I don't know when people say that. People are like, oh, cats don't really want revenge, and cats aren't really vindictive, and cats don't really have mean personalities. Some of them do! I've lived with cats that are so sweet and so nice and have such a great personality, and people will be like, oh, my cat loves me, and she's such a sweetheart, and she's so blah, blah, blah. But the second you say, my cat's an asshole, they're like, well, they don't really have emotions like that, and you're anthropomorphizing. And you're like, well, wait a minute. A minute ago, you're like, your cat thinks that it's your kid, and you call yourself mommy to it, and you're like, oh, it loves me so much, and all of this shit. But the second I say that my cat is an asshole, you're like, that's impossible! They don't have emotions like that. You do. You absolutely do. That's why I like you. My cat's a total bitch. And, like, I love her. That's why I love her. We get along. I'm the only person she likes. She still will climb up on my chest and like take one claw and stick it in the center of my lip and pull my lip down with one claw like that. You know, like, she's awful. I'm like looking at all this cat stuff. Yeah, cats have all sorts of personalities. I had a cat who was so sweet. She was so adorable and sweet and lovely, and she never weighed more than 3 pounds. She had some birth defect that was weird with her spine, and so she never gained more than 3. She was teensy. She was so cute. So, sorry for being foul-mouthed, Jenny Trout. Like, I have to apologize to me for that shit. All right. Let's take a look. What would a worse and more pathetic law than Florida's judge decides whether a teen is mature enough to have an abortion law look like? The heartbeat bill that just passed in Georgia. All right, let's see. Don't have to look at the things on that. But yeah, that makes no fucking sense. Oh, you gotta go to a judge and prove you're mature enough to have an abortion. Oh, well, what's the fucking alternative? If you're not mature enough to have an abortion, you're mature enough to have a fucking kid? No, thank you. God damn, people are so stupid. You know what? I gotta smoke some weed real quick. That pissed me off. Now I'm gonna be pissed off on weed. I know you don't like it. Tough. My cat. I don't blow my smoke at my cat. I don't make my animals smoke. I had one dog that would eat my weed all the time and who bit a lit joint out of my mouth once because he was crazy for the weed. But my cat doesn't like it. Rather than leave or get up and move, she sits there and looks at you like in a condemning way. It's like that judgmental fucking face. Who are you, my dare officer? All right. Mara and Pearl. I thought it said Mariah, and I was gonna freak out. Blade Trasker's pet. Yeah, mine was a Springer Spaniel, and he fucking loved, like, he would come to me in the morning. He had, like, a really bad shoulder tumor. It was, like, inoperable, because it was, like, inside the shoulder. It was, like, separating shoulder. And we let him go a lot longer than we should have. We should have put him down way earlier. But, we didn't, because we were way too attached to him. He was our first dog. And anyway, he loved marijuana, so I'll tell you the story about Tucker. He would eat it if he found it. He bit a lit joint out of my mouth. He would try to get right in your face when you were exhaling. He wanted you to blow smoke on him, right? So in the morning, I would come downstairs and I would get on my laptop and I would be writing and I'd have my bong, like right here. Okay, so let's say that this is the edge of the thing, okay? Like, oh, hey, I'll just make it look like it's sitting on that shelf right there, okay? So that shelf is my desk, right? And so I'm the dog. And I would come up and the dog would come up to me and he would look at me. And then his eyebrows, because he was a Springer Spaniel, he had like Disney dog eyes. He would go like really, and I'm like, dude, it's like 9 in the morning. So, like, 9 in the morning. So anyway, he was what he was. But I don't ever make animals. I think it's bad when people make their animals smoke weed. Because, like, none of our current animals, like, want anything to do with it. And I've never had another animal that ever wanted anything to do with it. Except for that dog. So, he was just really into weed. Creepy murder dog. What would Blade Traskett's dog's name be? That's when we need a book. That's when we need that book. You're a book! Anyway. Spike! That's a good name for Blade Trasket's dog.
What?
We're talking about Blade Trasket. Keep up.
I don't know what the hell that is.
That's because you don't watch my show.
What's your show?
This is my show. That's what I call it now.
Blank Trastic?
No, not Blank Trasket. Anyway. Alright. My grandmother collects keyboards. She's got 60 plus in her house, along with a load of other useless items. I'm worried about her mental health, especially since my grandfather passed. How should my family and I support her? What can we do for her? Is there anything we can do for her? So you're worried about your grandma. Okay? You're worried about your grandma. Let's do... This one doesn't really feel like a 10 card. Because I feel right off the bat like that's going to be too fucking personal about your grandma. Like right off the bat, I'm like, no. So let's do 3 cards. Okay. Let's do... How should my family and I support her? You said, what can we do for her? That's kind of the same thing. So how about what we think is going on? What is additional thing we need to know? Okay, so yeah, what's going on? Anything additional that you don't know that you do need to know, and how to support her. 3 cards. I will tell you right off the bat that a 10 card, even the thought of it feels messy, chaotic, and like it's going to be way too personal. Something is saying you're not entitled to some of that information. So, 3 cards. Just what's going on, additional information you might need that you don't already have, how to support her. I know that sounds goofy when I'm like, well, it says, or it feels like, but I can't help it. It's intuitive. It's intuitive reading. Oh, okay. So, what's going on right now? She's been having a lot of problems sleeping is part of it. I'm moving on too fast. Hang on. What you know is that there is a problem, and you don't know how to approach it, and you don't even know how to bring it up, really. By the way, I'm not communing with the card, I'm just tapping it on my head while I'm thinking. It's not like I'm getting the meaning by osmosis, I'm just thinking. Okay. Alright, so here's an interesting thing that I'm noticing here about this card. There are 2 swords crossed, but there are 3 people in shadow. So there's 1 person holding those 2 swords. So you guys are pretty much aware at this point that, yeah, something needs to be done, but there's some conflict. There's some conflict, maybe not even just with your grandma on this, but there might be conflict within the family as to whether or not this is even a problem. And even if it needs to be addressed, you're kind of in a thing right there, okay? So, I keep seeing Blade Trasket stuff picking up, okay? So, so the next card is the 9 of Swords reversed, and the thing about depressed, yes, she is having a hard time sleeping due to some depression. I don't necessarily see this as a dementia thing. I see this as this is going to sound weird because I say it's not dementia, it's mental health. What I mean by that is it's an emotional health thing, not necessarily, it's not necessarily being caused by like an underlying thingamabob. You know what I mean? Like an underlying like a thing that's eating holes in your brain as you get older type thing. It's more like an emotional depression problem. Okay, so those things are going into it, and there is very much she's aware that she's having a problem. But people there's just so much tension in these first two cards. So she is aware that there is tension over her and over the situation that she's in. And there isn't agreement within the family and among people that, like, there's as to what the severity of this is. And also there's an I want to ignore type thing going on there. For sure. It's just this is a really like, kind of a lot of tension right there. But the good news, moving on from that, is that the way that you can support her is literally just, I mean, this is the 10 of Pentacles, okay? See that? Like, there's no pentacles, it's an egg. But this is the card this is a generational thing. Okay, here we have an older person back here. We see younger people moving through this like phase, this transitional phase. We see the younger generation bringing up the next thingamabob. The way that you are going to be able to help, the way that you are going to be able to support her is by making your support available. By definitely by just making your support available, by reiterating that support is still there, okay? And specifically making it clear that her kids, her grandkids, stuff like that, okay, are doing fine. Because of this card coming up, it does seem to be that part of her issue is the feeling that the worry about what's going to happen to you guys. It's almost like she's deflecting her grief over her husband's death to, I'm not still grieving, I'm worried for them. I'm worried for the kids. I'm worried for the grandkids. It's them I'm worried about. I'm fine. They're the ones I'm worried about. So you need to keep reiterating that you are fine and that you are there to be there if she needs you. And that you are there and she's not burdening you if she needs something or anything like that. So, yeah. Oh, good, Bunny. I'm glad that it's helping. But, and I'm sorry that happened, and I'm sorry that that's the situation you're in, but I think it's pretty common. A lot of people are here. But I definitely feel on there that there's a lot of deflection. So, and as for the keyboard thing, there wasn't any real, nothing in there that would indicate keyboards. So, I've had some, I don't know, I'm either tapped in good tonight or you guys just have really powerful emotional questions. Ooh, it's going like that. Okay. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Gotta text wrap it. Oh my gosh! So remember how 2 weeks ago I was amazed at how March was really seeming like my month and how amazed I was that my reading in December was right? Well, since then, the thing my house finally closing and going away has been postponed until next month, and my father-in-law passed away. And to add a little cherry to the shit Sunday, my father-in-law was the person helping us financially until the house closed. So yeah, could you ask the cards why the universe hates me and what got I unintentionally pissed off? Oh no! Oh no! Because you were like, everything's happening, everything's coming together, and March is gonna look great. See, this is another one of those fucking things. Because it looked like March was looking great. And now April's gonna be ass? That's not fair. So everything was all like, hooray. March is great. That sucks. I'm sorry that I did not see that April was gonna be where the fucking shoe dropped. Jesus Christ. Okay. We're gonna do 10 cards for you. 10 cards. Alright. 10 cards. Sorry I didn't see the April thing. I remember that because you mentioned in March. You're like, yeah, and all the stress. I'm like, yay, yeah, that's great. I did tell you that things were going to be less stressful in March than April. Okay. So. We'll do 10 cards for you. Just a general overall. All right. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, this would have been great information to have had in that last reading. It would have been fantastic. No, I did not pick up on any of the energy going on. I didn't even know that was going on Thursday. I was beautifully, magically, and blissfully unaware. Okay. So, but I did see that lovely video of the people standing on the street all talking about how great QAnon was. I'm glad they live close to me. Okay. Man, let me get my butt right. So the first card that's coming up is the King of Wands reversed. Intuition into action is how I always interpret those. The King is always sort of the end of a cycle of the suit. And this is most definitely you being thwarted. And the reason I say that is because you are crossed with the King of Pentacles, which is the dude that's holding the money. You already said the thing about your father-in-law. I think this is just establishing that right now, not only is it the father-in-law, but it's the other parties involved that have power over the prosperity situation. Okay? So, all of that stuff, right? So, the King of Cups is the best you can hope for at this point. The best you can hope for, I guess, right now. I mean, look at this guy has his thing and he's like blessing those people and they look pretty happy. So it looks like the best you can hope for in this situation right now is some sort of emotional stability. It is coming. If you change nothing else about what's happening right now, at least you know that there is going to be emotional stability at some point, which is not greatly encouraging because we don't want to hear that maybe someday we'll all be all right. We want to know a time frame. We want to know the specifics. So taking a look here, the rest of the first part of your thing really does just sort of reiterate what you asked in the question itself. You started out on a journey with selling this house. This is something of value. So you were starting out on creating something of value. And recently there was a contract. If you look here, these people are drinking wine and they're standing in front of the sacred altar. This is the Two of Chalices. Sometimes this means, or Two of Cups, it just says chalices, so I read it. Sometimes this has to do with romantic love. In this case, this was, it's more of like a pact, because it also means like a partnership. Sometimes it's a love thing, sometimes it's a business thing. In this case, I think it's a business thing. This was, you entered into obviously, because you're selling the house, you entered into an agreement. Great. But as the things that are coming up now is that agreement is imperiled by the passing of your father-in-law, who was giving you money. This is a card about distribution of wealth, about charity, about giving, about receiving charity, all of those things. I'm not saying charity. If you don't like the word charity, don't take that as an insult. I don't think that's an insult. So I'm not saying it insultingly. But somebody was helping you out. Now you're sort of having to penny pinch a little bit more. You're really starting to worry. You know, here's the thing I value. Can I put enough gold over here to weigh it out? Okay? So moving on to the next part of the reading, since that was just basically a recap verbatim of your question. That said, when that happens, when I do readings like that, and especially when I do readings for a client, and I have to say, like, basically this was just your question, it was just repeating your question, I think that's a sign of what you need to concentrate on. The aspect of life right now, not that you could even think about not concentrating on it, because it's on your mind constantly, but this is apparently an important thing, and that seems weird to say, like, to be like, you should really be worried about your house at a time when a family member has died. That's not, you know, but it's, I guess, just saying don't lose sight of that, or you're not wrong to think about this at this time. Like, you shouldn't feel guilty about thinking about this at this time, type thing. The next one, the second part of the reading here, starts off with the Ace of Cups. You're kind of back to the beginning. Emotionally, you may have had something have happened not too long ago that sort of created grief or stress or tension. I mean, grief, though, is what I'm getting. So maybe you feel like you're back at square one. This could also be the feeling of being right back to the beginning of, like, how you felt before the, before the house process, before you started the selling the house type thing, or the closing on the house type thing. It just feels like you're back to square one emotionally. All of those feelings are back, plus now you know what it feels like if it starts to fall through, or you feel like it's going to fall through, so it's like times 10. It's just like not feeling great. Usually this is a really positive card, but I get a really shitty feeling off of it this time. But good news, everyone! The next card that comes up, the things that are outside influences, you've got Strength. See that? Now, I picked this Strength card because this bitch is dancing in fire. She has a snake on her arm, and she has a lion next to her. And this is not the card, like, where she's like, the virginal young maiden is holding the lion's jaws open. You know, this is like, that lion is ready to fuck people up for her. So you do have some people in your corner. You do have things moving into... things that are moving into, whatchamacallit, you know, when you're, I can't think, I'm sorry, I'm having a brain damage moment. You're, it's a word for, like, when you have more power, the upper hand. you're moving into a position where there's some sort of upper hand, there's some sort of increase of control that you have coming to you. You have, this is what strength is about. You are going to find yourself in a stronger position. You are going to find yourself sort of, not as scattered as you're feeling right now. And this is a very scattered feeling reading. This is a very, like all over the place. Everything is burning at once and I don't know where to start. Okay. So, next up, your fears and stuff like that. You got upside down She-Ra. This is a fear of not having control, a fear of feeling like you, like you're completely lost in a morass of like swamp and awfulness, and everything is just dragging, and all of that, and it's, you know, literally nothing in this spread feels good. And I'm not saying as a future thing. I'm not saying that in the future, you know, nothing is going to be good. It's just I feel you. This really sucks. This really sucks. Okay, so don't feel bad for feeling like the house thing sucks. That's a big takeaway here. Like that is a huge takeaway. Like, don't feel bad for being disappointed in that aspect. The next one, good fortune. So anyway, your last card, which is like the resolution of the whole thing. Yeah, it's not gonna be it's not going to be the whole dad helps us with the house type thing. It's not going to be this whole you can fall back on family thing. It's just, you know, which I think you already know. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be completely ruined, because you're still going to be fine. I mean, this is like you're going to be emotionally fine. You're going to be master of your situation. Type thing. It's just that it's not going to be with help from the family. But it also is very much, don't be afraid to feel bad about the house situation. Because this has dominated everything for you. This has just completely, like, dominated all your waking thoughts, basically. And there you go. I mean, it's okay to feel that way. Don't worry. Ultimately, things are not going to be horrible forever, is what this is saying. But right now, it's okay that they suck. You know? And you are going to regain some control over what feels like an out-of-control situation. This all is going to sort of, not clear up maybe it's not going to be in the way that you thought, involving help from family. But I'm sorry, that really sucks. And I'm really sorry that, like, you were looking at March and it was looking great, and it wasn't great, because this is definitely not great. So, I wish it was better news. I wish it was like tomorrow everything's going to be better. This is just saying, like, you're gonna get through it. You're gonna survive. You're gonna get through it. It's just not gonna be with help from the family anymore at this point. If it makes you feel any better, nothing in here indicates that it's going to fall completely through. Nothing indicates it's going to work out. But not like the house thing. It's curiously silent on the house front. But there's nothing that strongly says that absolutely this is all, like, the whole deal is going to fall through. It doesn't. There's nothing like jumping out like that. Like, so there's no real reassurance, but there's also no, yep, definitely not happening. That was really more about you and getting permission and getting permission to think about that side of it, even though it's in the wake of somebody's death, I guess, was really the feeling. Very much a, don't forget, this affects you. Alright, oh, I think that mother-in-law one is a repeat. Okay. Oh, I said last time I was not going to do the Bernie one. What are Marie Kondo's secrets? She's punk rock. She disrupts things. Okay. What? Okay. So let's see. What have we got? Something a little bit lighter here. Don't worry about asking me heavy questions because I will answer them. But I like to make a little mix. Oh, I better erase that invisible friend one or I'll try to answer it every week. Does Jenny deserve to win the internet? Yep. Abso-fucking-lutely. Okay. What flavor of gummy bear doesn't exist but definitely should? Butterscotch. Yeah. Butterscotch. What's the least intriguing superpower to base a story around? That's a good question. What do you guys think? Well, okay, good news, Amanda. That was a very strong feeling in that reading. So, because it was like, it was really weird because it was like basically repeating your situation to you. So, predicting dice rolls, that would be a boring story. Nobody would play D&D with you ever. Okay. What time is it? Nah, I'll keep going. I'll go to 11:30. Why not? All right. Can you please tell me about how the next 3 months will go for me at work? Sure, free cards.
You're gonna get written up.
You can't write me up. I'm not your employee. That was my mating call. He's powerless to resist now. Don't give me those looks like you're disappointed in your life choices. Alright, here we go. 3 cards, 1 for each of the next months. What do you need to know for the next 3 months? What do you need to know? Hopefully it'll be right. It won't be like, everything's gonna be great! Psych! Okay. Next 3 months for this person at work. 1, 2, 3. What do they need to know? Biggest thing for each month. Biggest thing they need to know for each month. Okay. Alrighty. So, April, if you have an idea or you are thinking about taking action, okay, there is this. This is the Knight of Swords, this badass flying Viking ship. I think it's flying. It might not be flying. It might just be on really clear water. And that's sand. But there is a giant horse head on it. That's the important part. If you have anything that you wanted to take action on, this is next month is the month. Next month, take the action. All right. I'm still burping really bad. So that happened. What are you putting into people's heads? Jesus. What are you guys doing in the comments? I'm like over here communing with the devil. I'm kidding. Not really. But anyway. Those things keep coming up. Man, I'm getting sloshed. I'm getting sloshed here. And then I'm gonna go to Pound Town. After I've been so seductive with my burps. What the hell is that? Oh, they moved. Sometimes people pull off the main road and onto our road to, like, make phone calls. Or, like, I think that right out here in front of our house must be the halfway point between here and somewhere else. And, like, people, like, exchange their kids. Like, it looks like custody exchange. Like, we have to meet halfway. And, like, somebody was like, this is exactly halfway! And, like, there's, like Friday nights, there's always, like, cars out there, like, with people exchanging children. I hope that's what it is. I don't think it's human trafficking. Anyway. The next thing. That's for April. May. You got the Seven of Pentacles. Look how proud you are. I do loathe when people invade public areas near my house. No, I am a little bit concerned about stuff that happens on the road in front of my house. Ever since the weirdos. Do you know what I mean? Like the weirdos? I worry a little bit sometimes if there's weird behavior, like, near my home. Anyway, I mean, the Friday night thing isn't weird behavior, but you can very clearly tell. The weirdos? Oh, the clowns? No. Was it 2 years ago? When was it that the NRA came after me? It was like a big thing. It was like, I had like 4 million people a day calling me a cunt. And, like, they posted my, yeah, Dana, what's her bitch, and her dumbass husband went after me on the internet because there were some Second Amendment people who were calling me the C word and shit all the time, and, like, I finally, like, snapped, and I said that we should melt down all the guns and drown all the MAGA people in the molten gunmetal or something. But one of the things was, one of them had said, somebody who had been threatening to kill me and kill my family. My response to them was that I didn't care if they could, that I didn't care about them and their families. I didn't care if they could protect themselves with a gun and their families, or something flippant like that. And the Dana, what's her butt, the Russian agent, she, her husband retweeted just that, and then people reported it, and that wasn't, like, people were, like, coming at me at that point. People reported it, and it got taken down, or I had to take it down because I went to Twitter jail. I also went to Twitter jail because some guy told me to kill myself, and my response was breathe water, or something like that. And so then I had a bunch of people get mad at me because they're like, you shouldn't tell people to kill themselves. And I'm like, at least I did it in, like, a poetic way. He straight up said I should shoot myself in the head. Or, like, it was just nasty. It was like people on the left were pissed off at me too about it, and people on the right were pissed off at me about it. And I was just getting like there was one day that I literally had like 4 million angry messages. Like, it was like you could look at Twitter analytics and it was like 4 million replies, and it was all about what a big cunty cunt I was. So, it was really bad. It was really bad. And what ended up happening was Ben Shapiro, that little weasel, and some other little greasy fuck on the right, they were, they went around and were, like, inciting people, and one of their followers or whatever had got where my husband worked and the phone number for my husband's job and the names of our dogs and our address, and they were like, we should go pay them a visit. And they took a picture of the address, and they put it on Twitter. So when I reported it, it didn't tick or something because it was in a picture. Like, I reported them when they put it in their tweets and they would get taken down, but somebody put it in a picture, and there's no way to be like, this is a picture of someone's information, right? So they didn't So they wouldn't take it down. They didn't take it down for 3 months. And I had shit like I had to call the police. We ended up, like, my husband ended up threatening a guy who was just a door-to-door salesman who came to our door because he rang the doorbell and then he stepped back. And so my husband was like, he's trying to, like, cover up, like, you know, he's trying to hide from us or whatever to get us to come out there. And he was, like, yelling at the guy, and I was calling the police. And it turned out it was just this guy that was in that weird scam-ass thing where they have to go around and sell books, that weird borderline human trafficking evangelical organization where they go around and sell books. But they, there was, like, a whole thing. The cops were out here. I went for a walk one day, and there was a car I'd never seen before, and it swerved over to the shoulder. I had to run down into a lawn. It was bad. It was bad stuff, right? So, it was bad. Anyway, that's what the weirdos was. So, if I see something happening out on the thing, I know it sounds stupid, but it just makes me like, why is that car slowing down right by my house? Eventually, it did get taken down because a bigger person got doxxed, and the vice president of Twitter was like talking to her and like trying to handle it as like this big public relations crisis. So I slid in there and said, "What about this guy? Like, what, this guy did this to me, and you guys have done nothing, and like the police have tried to contact you and shit, and you've done nothing." And then suddenly, like that, it was down. But somebody way more famous had to have that problem, and I had to be able to like just be there at the time that people were angriest. And this was like 3 months later. So now, if anything happens out there, I'm like, why is that car slowing down? Have I seen that car before? Is that the custody drop-off people? You know, why is this person ringing my doorbell and stepping away so I can't see them? Things like that. I'm paranoid now. I'm a little bit paranoid. It's just what it is. It is what it is. I reserve the right to be paranoid, but people are like saying that they're gonna like rape me to death and stuff. It was nasty. They got awful. Awful. There was a guy that sent me like pictures of like autopsies, just like sending me pictures of autopsies. What did that have to do with anything? Anyway. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, they did stuff with my pictures too. They would like take my pictures and they would put swastikas over my face, and they're like, you're gonna be the first in the ovens and shit like that. And I didn't want to be like, well, I'm not Jewish, because that sounds like terrible to be like, that's not the point, you know. But it was just like so like startling, because I was like, but like what if, you know, like they're saying that because they're counting on that being like anti-Semitic hate. They thought they were saying that shit to someone who was Jewish, and they were saying it specifically for that reason. It was so like it was like people are seriously evil, like evil. So that was evil.
Hey Mom.
Hey, what?
I'm going to say this on your stream.
Okay.
You should watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
You should watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yes.
That's what 16-year-old has said. So, anyway, that was the whole story. But we're getting back to these people's thing. Yeah, right? Right? You know, Sybil, I was like really like, it wasn't like I was like, oh my God, I can't believe people do this. It was just like this whole thing of like, you're purposely saying this hoping that it's hurting me on that level. Like this is like a real thing. Like you're reveling in it, but you're sitting here going like, we're America and freedom and I deserve to have a gun, you know? So it's fucking crazy. Anyway, he says to watch JoJo's something or other. I don't know. But this is, you know, I've seen him out of his bedroom, so that's exciting. So he said, if you want to do something, you're welcome. If you want to do something and put some changes into action, you want to do it in April. If you want to, then in May, you have all sorts of, you're a happy dwarf with lots of stuff growing, right? See that? See? Oh yeah, that was the point. Thank you, Bunny. is the idea that it was because it was all over guns. The people that are saying this shit that think they need to have guns are the same people that don't fucking, like, they want to literally exterminate people. Like, those are the people that think they're responsible enough and need and want guns. So anyway, the question was this person's job for the next 3 months. Anyway, here's the dude, and he's happy because he's looking at all of his hard work coming in. So that makes me think that May is probably just going to be a growth time for you, but and literally growth. You're not going to get to a resolution of something. You are not going to see the results of something. It's just going to be May is when something is growing, something is brewing, something is, you know, whatever. June, you got those muscular, thick thighs. Look at that. Look at that, Viking Daddy. Wow. So that's the 9 of Cups, and what this guy is. Look at that. Looks like Chris Crocker. That looks like Chris Crocker. He said something about his lips the other day about people giving him shit about his lip injections. I was like, his teeth are fucking Ken doll perfect, right? Like, I straight up said, I was like, you can afford to have perfect lips, so like. Like with those teeth, he's basically just, you know, if he didn't get the lip injections and make them perfect, then it would be like putting a Van Gogh in a dollar store frame, you know? So, it's just what it is. If you can afford, you know, fuck it. If you want to have fucking lip injections, you want to have like all that shit done, do it! Do it! Anyway. The point of the matter, but don't do what the fuck you want. But this is not about you having plastic surgery, person that asked the question. This was just me, you know, thinking about how it'd be weird. It's weird to make fun of Chris Crocker for getting lip injections when, like, his whole business is based on how hot he is. You know, like, they look great. Leave him alone. Anyway, but it does kind of look like Chris Crocker. Anyway, this guy, he's so proud of all the stuff behind him. All that. Look at all of what I have. Look at all my cups. This tells me that we're April, May, June, you're going to be feeling pretty good. Now, cups is like an emotional thing or a creative thing or what have you. So I'm telling you that in June, you are going to feel pretty good about some kind of process that you are. There's something that maybe you've been struggling with, and that might actually be what the 7 of Pentacles is about. You might find that in June, something that you've been working on or worried about or something that's been challenging you, you find a solution that you can be pretty happy with. And that you're like, yeah, no, I've got this now. It's a big feeling of I've got this. And I figured this out. And you know, crisis averted, problem solved. Look at me with all of my beautiful cups behind me. This is because I am an expert, and it's so perfect. So that's pretty much what you're going to be doing for the next 3 months. And sorry that got interrupted with a thing. Yeah, why is there such animosity towards plastic surgery? Plus, like, I'm gonna fucking sit here with my tattoos and shit, and my former lip piercing, and my former nose piercing, and my double ear piercings, and I'm gonna be sitting here, like, don't get plastic surgery? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Get all plastic surgery you want. Do it up. So overall, I don't know how I feel about this deck. I hope everything in it goes right. I hope everything in it is... I hope this doesn't turn into a thing of, like, the night that everything that Jenny read was absolutely wrong. This is a very intense deck. Very much so. I might keep using it. It's interesting to me that it works... that the cards speak to me on its own or put together or whatever, so anyway. But it happens. You know, it is what it is. So I'm gonna guzzle the rest of this bottle. Well, that's good, Tammy. I'm glad to hear it. When you can do Reiki, I'm gonna need some help. I'm gonna need some some help because everything's all fucked up. All my chakras are spinning the wrong way. There's like a hunk of rock salt stuck in my third eye. I need help. Anyway, one more question. What? One more question? Yeah, come on April 13th. Somebody else is coming too. But I've got to give her the info. Oh no, I've got to tell Kiana. I keep forgetting. Because the other day I was really, really stoned. Yeah, I'll do one more. Is there a specific one? Like... Oh wait, we did the gummy bear. What is the sexiest tarot card? I think that the sexiest tarot card is fucking clearly the guy, the sexy Viking daddy with the thick Viking daddy man. Okay, so you want me to do one more? I'll do one more. One more. Let's see. This person, all my life I want to be a published author and see my name on book covers. What do I need to do to make it happen, or should I just give up? First of all, that kind of talk is never allowed here at Fitshaced Fortunetelling. You're never allowed to think. Viking Daddy is Blade Trasket's Halloween costume. I don't know what you're talking about, buddy.
Daddy, what?
You mind your own business. You speak when you are spoken to.
Ouch. I'm the woman now.
All right. But you're not allowed to say, should I give up? Okay. Dick. That Hulk has a big dick. Okay. He did say that. He absolutely said, I am the woman now. That's just how it is. In my home, we joke a lot about misogyny because if you don't laugh, you cry. All right. I do the same thing sometimes to Brown and Green. I say, I'm the husband now. All right. So, but let's see what this person needs to do about their book career, about their writing. Let's do 3 cards. 3 cards that you need. Okay? 3 cards of stuff that you need to know to make this book thing happen. Now, for free, without a card, I'm going to tell you what you do to make it happen is not talk about quitting. Don't make it an option. Boom. Step 1. Don't make quitting an option. All right. What do we do if we don't have an opportunity? Or we miss out on an opportunity? We make our own opportunity. Okay? That's the thing. If you miss out on an opportunity, you make your own opportunity. I just told that to my daughter not too long ago. She was in The Lion King. She got cast not in a main part, just as a random hyena. Okay? So, I told her, you know, you miss out on the opportunity to have a big character with lines. You gotta make your own opportunity. Okay? So your opportunity now that you're going to make for yourself is to make up your own hyena, you know, and be the best hyena that you can possibly be. And you're making your own opportunity. So when you miss out on an opportunity, you make your own opportunities. And this is how I've lived my life, and this has worked out so far. I mean, I slept until 4 p.m. today, so maybe not perfectly, but it does work out. 3 cards. 3 things you need to know in your publishing journey right now. Maybe my hands would be less drunk. Kaboom. 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 All right, these are all things that are happening inside of your head because they are all reversed. I'm sorry for my burping. I gotta stop with this carbonated stuff. It's so ladylike of me. First of all, it doesn't look like you have a lot of family support. I'm not saying that your family is actively not supporting you, but they maybe see it as a pipe dream. I'm saying that because the Ten of Pentacles is turned over. This is all about generational wealth. And in this case, the wealth, the value to you would be encouragement and support. I don't think the people around you really get it. And so just stop looking for that. The next thing that we've got here is the Queen of Cups, okay? Turned upside down, see? All right, so here we got the Queen of Cups. She is, and I don't know if any of you guys are like into mythology or like stars and shit, but it says fixed water. I don't know what that means. If anybody wants to tell me what fixed water or a beautiful flame is, I'm interested to know, but not interested enough to Google. Anyway, so this, but turned upside down, one of the things that you've got going on is you need to be emotionally invested, but you're trying not to be. And that's sort of defeating you before you even get off the ground. That's one of the things that's holding you back. It's like almost like you're afraid to be enthusiastic because you don't want to look stupid. Do you know what I mean? And then, hello, Chonky Black Kitty. My kitty is chonky as well. The next one that is up here, the last thing that you need to keep in mind is the Five of Cups reversed. This is what I call the sad Dracula card, except for in this one it's not a sad Dracula. It's a sad Lady Lovely Locks. And if you're almost 40, you know who Lady Lovely Locks is. Anyway, so, but she's reversed. So, this is a thing where you are... This is definitely kind of a, like, when it's like this, I would say it's a look at the bigger picture thing. Like, oh, look at the bigger picture. But it's more like, don't look at the bigger picture. Like, that's kind of all I'm getting from this, is just, like, you need to just keep, instead, like, if it was like this, I'd be like, hey, you know, you're looking at only the bad stuff. Look at the good stuff, too. Look at, you still have those two cups. That's the way I always interpret the sad Dracula card, is that Dracula's sad about the stuff that's spilled, but he's not paying attention to the fact that there's other stuff behind there. So this is definitely more of a, don't fucking worry about that. Don't try to look on the bright side. Don't try to look on whatever. Just keep your eyes fucking focused straight ahead. Tunnel vision right to the end. Okay? So that's what's going on here. But like I said, it's all of these are reversed, which tells me that all of this is internal stuff. Don't worry too much about what your family or your loved ones, people around you think, particularly people in generations above you. Don't rely on conventional wisdom. I know that this is not the fucking emperor. I'm just saying, don't rely on conventional wisdom. You do need to be somewhat emotionally invested. You can't act cool about it to yourself because you're acting kind of cool, like, well, you know, either way, I can give up, it doesn't matter. Don't do that. You gotta get emotionally invested in it. You gotta be willing to emotionally connect. And, kablamo, fucking just stay focused. Like, stay just eyes on the target. Don't worry about what is spilled, what isn't spilled, any of that. Don't be a sad Dracula. Just fucking eyes on the prize. And don't ever talk about giving up. Nobody give up.
Never give up.
Never give up. Never surrender. Thank you, Mr. John.
Unless you get arrested by the cops in Kalamazoo.
Unless you get arrested by the cops in Kalamazoo and you snitch on fucking 19 people and send them to jail for life to save your ass so you can become Tim the Toolman Taylor and complain in like 2018 that you can't say the N-word in jokes. God, I hate that guy. Tim Allen's a fucking snitch. Take that to the bank. He is a fucking snitch. he got caught. He got fucking caught. And he fucking just fucking snitched on everybody. And then he goes off and becomes a millionaire. Fuck that guy. Fuck Tim Allen. You're a snitch, Tim Allen. And that's why I'm blocked from most accounts on Twitter that tweet about you. Anyway, the point of the matter is, I'm going to go now. And I'm going to drink this. And I'm going to go,
Make regrettable decisions.
make regrettable decisions. Yeah. So, night-night, and I will, and we're talking about giving up, guys. No more of that nonsense. And I will chug. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna try to chug, but it's okay. But this is Buddy wants me to chug, but it's kind of hard to chug champagne because it's got a lot of gas in it. But we'll see. Let me see if I can just chug it a little bit and then just rip a great big burp. Right away, I fail. Right away. I can't chug it. I feel like I'm having a heart attack. Alright. Night, everybody. See you next week. I can't reach the button. I can get it.